What is it that?
It's one of like 2 days.
No. Hello and welcome to Jamesville-DeWitt High School here in DeWitt, New York, and we are JDTV broadcasting this Section 3 lacrosse matchup between the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams and the Central Square Redhawks. My name is Tyler Aitken, and right next to me is Brad
Diamond.
Brad Diamond, pardon me. A little shaky today, but Brad, what are you expecting to see today?
Well, it's no problem, Ty. You're a young kid. You're a diamond in the rough yourself, so I nothing against it. And to be honest, I think the biggest thing that these teams are going to have to fight today is heat stroke. But that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, it was 90 degrees earlier today when I was running during track practice, so it is definitely a toasty one out there.
Ooh, it looks like we got it started here.
And Jamesville-DeWitt will move the ball down the field quickly and set up a nice, relaxing move of the ball around the periphery.
Absolutely. They got their A squad in there. Brazell, Burns, and the rest. And looks like they're just going to do their classic work it around. They've been super, and a strange errant pass there, but they've been super consistent about starting slow and ramping things up when they feel comfortable, and by the time they're at full go, it's usually bad news for the other team.
And we saw the same thing in the girls' game on Tuesday where they defeated ESM 13-5. They worked the ball around for their first few possessions and then got very aggressive very quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the parallels between the men's and women's teams, girls and boys, if you would. Especially, too, because, Coach Rice for the girls team is much newer to coaching here. Well, Jamie Archer is pretty well established, but it seems that Coach Rice is, really getting on board with the JD way. And here looks like Central Square is just going to go for the attack. Some good aggressive defense. And a double team. Oh! So a double team, they both give the shooter slack. They both recover, so to speak, but one of them should have stayed, and the attackman for Central Square gets a clean shot, but great save by McLaughlin.
Gunther Schnorr, number 36, was playing very aggressive defense, but seems as though the defense got a bit greedy there and was very lucky that McLaughlin was there to back him up.
Yeah, early miscommunication, which, it's early in the game and an unusual season, so you can't really fault them too much, but I can almost guarantee they will clean that right up as we continue the first quarter and the first half.
Another errant pass going out of bounds, and Central Square takes possession again. That's three early mistakes here by the Red Rams, but those are the types of mistakes you want to make early on in the game rather than later.
Yeah, definitely, and that could be any number of factors. I mean, the heat can do crazy things to your mind, but we try not to make excuses for these players out here. And just as we were talking about a turnover by JD, we get another one by Central Square this time. Burns is going to bring it to X here. And they'll give it another go.
Keeler's going to swing the ball over, and then they're going to get it right back to X.
Something is telling me that they're going to try to get it back up to Keeler. I was completely wrong. Burns takes it himself, puts it dead center cage, finds net. Just a simple move, not even really a dodge per se. He just gets a step. It's good recognition of the situation there by Burns.
Very slowly and meticulously kind of moved up that left side of the cage, and it seems as though the goalie wasn't even ready for the ball.
Yeah, I mean it had shades of players like Timmy Edwards about a decade ago, Ty, when you were 7, but I'm assuming you were still in diapers. Just a joke. Yeah, like shades of Timmy Edwards, who would look like he's moving slow motion while he's running right by someone. A very odd juxtaposition of movements, but very smooth. And Burns has got like I said, shade of that.
And that was a great defensive play by Withers, slashing the ball right out of the...
Good clear by Schnorr, and throws it into traffic, but looks like Kaib is going to snag it.
Good teamwork between the cousins, Schnorr and Withers.
Oh, they're cousins.
Good tandem on the basketball court. Now we're seeing good tandem on the lacrosse field as well.
And we've seen enough of the siblings. Let's get some cousin matchups. It's still, it's 1-0 here. Close to halfway through the first. I'd say that Central Square is holding their own as we speak at this moment.
Helped up by some errant passes by the Rams, but
A good look, good save by the keep.
exactly, there's been some. It's certainly not all luck for the Redhawks. They've been making a few good plays. We've seen number 23, Jacob Moran, playing a little aggressively on offense, and we'll see if they keep that up here on this possession.
Absolutely, and Central Square does not necessarily have the storied past that a Jamesville-DeWitt does, but it certainly looks like they came to play, and they've been plagued early with a little bit of turnover issues, but they are, looks like they're ready to compete here. It looks like we got a long pole up at the top of the box. Maybe not. Oh, I was going to say maybe not the best decision to take a long pole when you don't have to, but he got a pretty decent shot off, although I believe it's sailed wide.
And that was Moran, seemingly the point guard almost of this Redhawks offense.
Yeah, clearly he is not afraid to take on those long pole defensemen. And for those who are not super familiar with lacrosse, that extra foot or two a stick for the defense makes it not 50% more difficult to get around them, especially if they're tricky with it. The defenseman, that is. And now they got it back up, but to a long pole. Short pole. Withers.
And that ball was way out of bounds, and the Rams will take possession and try to extend a lead that they probably would have expected would be a little bit bigger by now.
True, but, it's why we play the game, Ty.
Exactly.
On any given day. And it just, maybe a small bit of rushing or something from JD, but
Sabatino dropped the ball there, but quickly picked it up and ran from 25 to 25. And he will get it back at the top of the key. The Rams have it in X, get it to Kaib.
It's really good off-ball movement by the midfielders up there. So it's like a top triangle, and they're cutting and exchanging extremely well. And although that goal was by Kessler, I think the play almost kind of starts with the exceptional off-ball movement from the midfielders, which can be tough, but looked pretty seamless.
We saw several good cuts there by Tanner Burns, who had that first goal. So even when he's not scoring, providing great help to that offense.
Yeah, but one thing that's unusual, it's only 2 goals here, but a lot of the JD goals are typically assisted, and assisted at that with, crazy nice passes. But they've been focusing a lot on the one-on-ones to this point. And we'll have a timeout. And bear with us while we get the clock situation figured out, and we are good.
So what's your early analysis of this Red Rams defense and how they're reacting to the aggressiveness of the Redhawks?
I think what they're doing is, like I said, it's unlike them to really lean into the isolation offense. There have been good cuts and good, shots off cuts, but the success they're finding right now is just really taking one step or making one move and just heading right towards the cage. And, if it works, it works, and that's fine, but it might be something that Coach Archer's going to look out for, because against, sectional playoff teams, you really can't rely on that quite so much. But if it's getting the goals in here today, then can't complain too much.
Reeves is taking his position at half field. He is 2-0 on face-offs thus far, and he's been a key component of a lot of close wins for the Rams this year.
Yeah, seriously. When Reeves is hot, the team is on fire. And when Reeves struggles, the team seems to struggle. So he is kind of the What is the thing that holds up the arch? Key?
A pillar?
What was that saying?
Pacemaker?
Well, yeah, pacemaker works as well. I think keystone was what I was looking for. He's essentially the keystone of the entire team in a way, which isn't atypical of face-off guys. That's why they get full scholarships in college to do a very specific task. Ooh, this is looking good. Kaib. And again, you see, not exactly assisted, just a one-on-one effort.
Red Ram goal by number 1, Johnny Cobb. Unassisted.
Right, so that will be unassisted, and that'll continue the trend of the individual efforts by the Red Ram offense.
I think I agree with you. As this game goes on, Coach Archer's going to want to see a little bit more teamwork, and I think that's something they're probably going to try to focus on here as they get another possession thanks to Reeves' wonderful work inside.
Yeah, and still plenty of game left, but in the situation that JD may go up by a handful of goals like we've seen in the past, usually the play doesn't get any sloppier. Usually it even gets a little more crisp. But despite the early lead, there does seem to be a bit of a chemistry issue for this offense right now, and even the defense too has had a couple of small issues that you don't typically see from the squad.
And just as you're mentioning that, an errant pass intercepted by Shaw, the goalie from the Redhawks.
Yeah, just uncharacteristic from what we've seen this far in the season. But they get a little lucky.
Kaib will run the ball in bounds, happily taking that lucky break of a return after they had just turned the ball over.
Exactly, yeah. So you're not always going to get those lucky breaks, but if you get them, you get them. Just try to make the most of the next possession. And we'll see. Maybe if the offense doesn't start clicking, the defense and the goalie might have to start scoring again. Don't tempt them.
Some intense defense there by Jake Haddam. And the ball goes out of bounds. Rams retain possession.
See, they have a good little off-ball play. So it looks like So again, the midfielders run a beautiful double pick right on the top of the crease, but it's just a one-man effort is all it's going to take from Kaib.
Getting goal by number 1, Johnny Cobb.
And this keeper for Central Square has made some pretty good saves here, but it looks like he is just not crashing to that near side pipe when Kaib's been coming around the crease, and that's gonna be an issue.
Right next to the camera. There's a wasp right next to the camera, so we can zoom out and step away.
So we have an ecology issue here.
Seemingly a wasp right next to the camera.
Looks like FM didn't do enough damage when they were here last week, right?
Okay, we're clear.
And we may have just missed a goal.
Yeah. There was a wasp under the wasp.
So apologies to whoever made that goal happen. But we were inundated with fear.
And unfortunately enough for the Rams, the Hornets striking some fear in them. Just last Saturday, they lost a tough 17-12 game to the Hornets.
Yeah, they managed to claw back in towards the end, but it was pretty clearly FM's game there. Caden Yancey for FM was just a unit out there. He was bulldodging, he was feeding, he was quick sticking goals. He had a picture perfect game, and that might have made all the difference at the end of the day. But you can't keep these Rams down for too long.
Going back to Yancey for a bit, he had 6 out of the 17 goals for the Hornets that day.
Yeah,
The Hornets still undefeated, and he will be headed to SUNY Cortland next year to play some lacrosse, and they're very happy to have him.
Yeah, Steve Bevel is going to He's going to be pretty excited to have Yancey there. He's definitely cut from the Cortland cloth, from what I know. So I see a very successful college career for Yancey. And once again, JD slipped one through there, making it 6.
So that's Kessler's second goal of the day. Both him and Kaib have 2 goals early off in this game.
Yeah, so a good spread of production, but still we're not quite seeing kind of the dip and dunk offense that we've grown so accustomed to seeing for the Red.
And that's 7 face-offs and 7 face-off wins for Reeves. You were saying that the team does well when he does well, the team struggles when he struggles, and he had one of his toughest games of the year against the Hornets, and it was clear that not getting that many possessions really hurt them in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. We were discussing it in the middle of the game, and it ended up not boding well. Maybe just a bad day for Reeves, maybe just exceptional play by the Fogo for the other team. Fogo, by the way, Ty, if you don't know, is slang for the face-off person, means face-off, get off. And it's easier than saying most other things. But yeah, in general, Reeves has been one heck of a Fogo this season.
And we are very lucky to have such a lacrosse expert teaching me the game as the games go on.
I prefer Lax Guru, Ty.
Lax Guru. Okay.
Sir Lax Guru.
On a third goal there from Kaib.
Any goal by number 1, Johnny Kaib.
Unassisted again, I believe.
Kaib in his bag like the fries at the
Oh.
bottom.
And we missed that goal, but he slung that in from the right wing and was not afraid at all. He knew that shot was going in before he even shot it.
Yeah, he's been crashing that right side of the cage pretty hard. Defense for Central Square hasn't found a way to handle him yet, so he's going to go off until they tell him to stop. Oh, nice little scoop. Almost lost it. Oh!
That was a good save keeping the ball in bounds there from Central Square. And then they give it right back to the Rams.
You see, one thing that may come into play is the bench for Central Square looks awfully thin. Only a couple of substitutes, and on a unbelievably hot day like this, I mean, you almost feel for the kids that are out there sweating for the team. Ooh, good save by the keep.
I believe I see 4 on the bench there for the Redhawks and maybe upwards of 10 for the Red Rams. So that's certainly going to become more and more of a factor as the game pushes forward.
Yeah, and so, hopefully we don't see anyone cramp up. But it's definitely a distinct possibility, and without someone to come in and take your place, Central Square might have to voluntarily play man down at points, depending on how this game goes, which is a bizarre kind of situation to be put in.
That ball was well over the top pipe, but it seems as though the Redhawks were closest, so they'll keep it for now. They just need a spark plug on offense, though, because they're circulating on the outside. They've had a few goals inside, but I believe McLaughlin's only had to make a save or 2 so far.
Yeah, and it's usually a good day when the goalie's bored in cage, but I don't see Central Square, throwing in the towel anytime soon. They're definitely hungry to at least get on the board.
And one interesting thing about this game, we've been talking about it a lot so far, but 7 goals for the Rams, 7 unassisted goals for the Rams, not a single assist yet. That's totally out of character for them.
And I haven't been inspecting the... Oh, and that's 8 for 8. I have not been inspecting the defense for Central Square too closely. Maybe they're playing really good off-ball defense. But it could just be that JD's been just getting the step on them. And so not bad defense. It was all over his hands, but again, he had step and a half on his defenseman. And if you're a talented team like JD, all you need is a couple inches. Reeves kicks it out.
A little bit of a scrum there.
Scrum diddly-umptious, I'd say.
Reeves ends up with his own face-off after the ball rolls around a little bit.
Ooh, now we're seeing a little bit of speed from this attack, and just when we thought we'd see an assist, ball pops out. Quarter's over.
So closing out these first 12 minutes is an 8-0 lead for the Red Rams. We'll be back with you in just a moment for quarter number 2. And now we are opening up quarter 2 of this game. 8-0 JD lead, and the Redhawks are hungry to get on the board as this quarter starts.
Who do we got here on the wing for JD number 9? Not on the roster.
That is Jackson Thomas, I believe.
Oh, of course. Jackson gets a lot of minutes. Maybe I'm just not used to seeing him on the wing, at least this side of the wing. We'll see. So we were saying, too, it's been no assisted plays. They got tantalizingly close on that very last possession of the first quarter. But we'll see. I'm sure that Coach Arch has made it a point, or maybe not. They're still just letting it fly. I guess whatever's working for them.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's probably the philosophy of many coaches out there. Don't want to ruin any potential mojo that your team has.
Like the old basketball coach, just like, no, don't shoot. Oh, good shot. You know. I guess that happens in lacrosse all the time too.
If it goes in, they're not going to worry about it.
Dirty or pretty, it all counts for one. Speaking of one, Kai. And can the Redhawks finally get a solid offensive possession here? Looks like 1-5 wants it.
Solid screen
And
set there.
yeah,
Another
a
one.
good two-man game. The old double screen does not get them exactly where they wanted, but it is keeping the defense honest. And oh, all right. Great goal there. Finally a flash. early in the second quarter.
We are officially on the board.
Like, that was good. He put his shoulder right into him, shot with pressure, and it pipes in.
And no surprise, that was number 23, Jacob Moran. He's been slinging the ball at the goal all day. Finally got one to convert.
Yeah, it's lots of run and gun today. Some falling, some not. That was a great one. Ooh, and Reeves looks like he was going to lose one, but thought it was going to be an infraction on the Redhawks.
Seems like it
and
was.
It is, yeah. They switched sides of the field. No one told me that, Ty.
You didn't notice on that goal scored?
It's been a long day.
It's been a long, hot day. Maybe, had getting mixed up. Totally normal. I forgot your name. You forget the goal. Now we're even.
My brain is just hot turtle soup right now. It's so hot I'm getting a southern draw in my voice. Maybe that's why they do it. It's just too dang hot down there. Nice little shot from the hip. Not on cage, though.
And these aren't close, wide open shots either. The Rams are slinging from deep. They're slinging from the side. Not necessarily waiting for a good angle.
Yeah, but sometimes, if you can get it on cage, it kind of messes with the goalie's heuristics. So sometimes those weird change-ups or behind-the-back shots, if you can get it on the cage, you probably have a better probability of getting it in. Good shot from Burns. A little move reminiscent of his cousin, I believe, Deke Burns. Nice change of direction and shot, but good save from the keep.
Great steal by Kaib.
Oh, looks like they're going to want to attack here.
Burns back
bit of
to
a
Kaib.
force. Good. Oh, and still no assists. I don't believe from JD.
Just absolutely
But-
piped it.
A couple of questionable passes, but great catches. And then Pipe City. A little bit of aggressive play here from Central Square.
Ball was on the ground for a while. Brazel was the one who came up with it. Burns will.
Burns splits again. They're quick to double team, but a good recovery from the defense, and then what looks to be a good save dribbles in.
And I believe that's the first assisted goal of the day.
Training goal by number 4.
Never too late.
Assisted by number 14.
Nice apple. An apple a day. We got one apple today. Keeping the doctors away.
Just a quick look at it. Dribbled in.
Yeah, but there we go. It doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. Looks the same on the scoreboard for JD. Kaib has to work for that one. Possession's going to go red.
Lucas Sport ends up with it. Takes a couple of hackings there.
Sabatino.
Back to Bort on the left side. They get it.
So they're getting some good rotation on their middies already. Again, probably just because of the sheer heat. They're getting bodies in and out. It's something that is not afforded to Central Square. Oh, man.
And now they're flowing in. That was a great pass there from
On a rope.
Lucas Bort. And let's take another look at this one.
The thing looked like the SpaceX rocket.
Assisted by number 12.
Sheer. Ooh. Wow.
Pinged it to the top right corner. That was beautiful to watch.
Kesserling.
And if you're keeping track at home, that is 13 straight face-off wins for the Rams.
Reeves is going to like his performance today. And even if he loses the rest of the faceoffs for the whole game, he would still finish over 500. Which, I mean, if you're a face-off person and you're winning 53, 54% of your face-offs, that's borderline elite.
Reeves has to be well over that on the season.
Yeah, the only issue though, he is incredibly talented, but he did struggle immensely with the latest, real challenge from FM. But I'm sure that doesn't sit well with him, and he's probably gonna keep that in the back of his mind as motivation. Ooh, little Canadian-like pass to the middle, but assists have been hard to come by.
Oh, ball goes out of bounds. Ethan Kesselring on this last possession went for an over-the-shoulder shot. That would have been very impressive if he made it.
Yeah, even the pass too by Marshall was not an orthodox throw. Pretty difficult way to toss it there, but he gets it right on the stick. Just cannot finish with the goal. Oof, lots of mustard on that one.
There's a whipping shot from Sabatino.
Close to a 2-pointer if we were in the PLL right now. Ooh, good save. See there, I was saying earlier that the keeper for Central Square wasn't crashing that close pipe. And that time he got to that pipe and he made the save.
Yeah, Ian Shaw has done particularly well on a few tough shots from the Rams. He has a couple of very solid saves today, despite what you see on the scoreboard.
You know, he's not making it easy. Particularly the goals that have been the shots that have been in close, within 5-7 yards. He's getting his hands and stick on those shots with pretty good efficiency. Then there we go again, mid-range. Those high bouncers are tough to get your hands on, but there he does it again.
Defense makes a sloppy pass. Codd gets in into Kesselring.
Oh, yeah.
Pipes it.
Who knows? Maybe the humidity is just messing with the sticks out there, getting them a little off whatever.
Heat rises. A lot of balls going high on that shot. So,
Well, you'd be surprised.
Who knows?
The mesh, it's like mostly cotton polyester mesh, especially if it's aged a little bit, can be really super responsive to the environment. If it's wet, if it's humid, if it's too dry, your stick could be throwing and shooting 3 completely different ways, which again is not a satisfactory excuse for players to make, but it is just the physical reality.
we saw some more of that right there as Sabatino a few feet above the goal on that one.
And it looks like they're going to go man up here after Sabatino takes the soak from the defense. And if you do not get an assisted goal or an assisted attempt with a man up opportunity, then you are just not in a situation where you're getting a lot of assists.
Kesselring and Kaib working it around on the outside.
Oh, and I don't think the defense was expecting that pass in there, and then just a instantaneous shot for Burns.
Rams will keep it. Brazil gets it over to Burns again.
And Brazel's been popping out on that far wing with a ton of room. It may not be in the man-up script for him to let it rip, but I think that if he keeps getting that space, you're going to see him, let it fly.
And there we go. That one is going to be an assisted goal.
Love to see the assists.
Kai right into Withers.
And just a little hesitation. He's got a lot of time on the crease and really can put it wherever he wants with that kind of close spacing. So a good man up run there from JD. And what do you know?
Scott Reeves doing what he does.
Absolute rock star out there. 37 seems like such a Fogo number too, you know?
Yeah, just got a little bit of randomness to it where,
Right?
yeah.
Just like, you know, how there's like wide receiver I mean, those are like more institutionally kind of given to players, but 37 just strikes me as a face-off number. And who knows, he might have 37 face-off wins by the end of the day if he keeps up at this clip.
He's been very impressive with that 14-0 right now.
It's really unbelievable. You do not see that every day.
No, nor do you see those random types of numbers pop up every day. The Celtics the other day I was watching, I realized for the first time in a while, Evan Fournier, number 94 for the Celtics.
He's not typically that number, is he?
No, he's not. He was I think he was 16 on the Magic, and then decided to bring out 94 for once he was traded to the Celtics, because that makes perfect sense.
You know, Lacrosse too, especially. Oh, good goal by Burns. Especially in like box lacrosse, which is honestly really closer to hockey than field lacrosse, but it is not atypical to have, you know, numbers that are 88, 99, 0. And some of that translates to the field game. We don't see any of that on JD or Central Square, but now and then you'll just see that random 70 or 80. But it would be interesting to have a box lacrosse team for like the high school ranks. That would be interesting.
I think that'd be very exciting to see. Back when I was in middle school, a lot of guys in my grade played box lacrosse, and I went to a few games, and they can get more physical than football games I've seen. It's absolutely insane to watch.
I mean, I'll tell you, I was playing in an international tournament, and we were actually playing a Redhawks team, but it was actually the Onondaga Redhawks team, and I'll tell you what, someone just dropped gloves with me without me knowing, and I got a fist to the chin and neck, and then a blindside hit and knocked my shoulder out. And so that was the last tournament I played box lacrosse, because I didn't want an early grave for myself.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. We were talking before the broadcast today about physical sports like that. Almost reminds me of slam ball in a way.
Slam ball, the forgotten should-be Olympic sport, 2028. I'm feeling it.
If you've never heard of it, slam ball is basically like basketball, full contact with trampolines on the court. It is an absolute madness of a sport, but it is wonderful to watch.
I bet your Reeves would be pretty good at it. Don't ask me why. I just get that feeling. Maybe because he just looks like he could dominate any sport ever based on his performance today.
Schnorr would probably be
And we're getting word here that Schnorr as well would probably be an A1 slam baller.
I'm not surprised at all that you said Scott Reeves. He's got a lot of hidden talents. If you didn't go to my middle school, you wouldn't know, but in the 5th grade talent show, he sang the national anthem opera style. Just came out of nowhere. That was an absolute spectacle, totally unexpected, but it was.
You might expect like a Sabatino to go opera style, just because it sounds like that other famous guy.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Reeves has some pipes. Nobody expected it, and I think we all had a good time watching.
Get green with envy with guys like Reeves. Got it all. But this team in general is like just so multifaceted from player to player. And I'd be willing to bet that lacrosse is a huge part of a lot of these players' lives, but they diversify their experiential portfolio, a lot of them.
They do. Lucas Bort, a key member of the Jamesville-DeWitt math team. Johnny Kibe, math team. Johnny Kibe, all-section player for the soccer team. Co-section player of the year, co-league player of the year this fall.
It seems like their limit does not exist. You don't get the reference, Ty. He's too young, folks. From Mean Girls.
I've seen the
Mean
movie,
Girls.
but it's been a while, so I guess you could say I'm too young to get that reference.
Hey, I'm getting old. Go home and watch it. I actually don't know if it's on Netflix or anything. Go to Redbox and rent it.
What's Redbox?
I can't tell if you're messing with me, Ty. It does still exist. There's one at Tops.
Believe it or not, I am messing with you. I've seen Redbox before, and I do know what Blockbuster is. So, I do know some of those ancient things that you speak of.
You're gonna send me right into nostalgia land with this talk of Blockbuster. Walking in, smell of popcorn, super bright blue and yellow. Take me back. And ooh,
Number 15, Josh Budge, getting sandwiched between 3 or 4 Ram defenders, took an absolute beating.
yeah,
And-
the defense want to make sure that, if you're encroaching in their swamp, they're gonna let you know and try to get in your head if they can, even if it's using that physical brutality. Ball pops out. Oh, good ground ball.
That's number 15, Zach Tiffany, picking it up.
Really suave movement there on that GB pickup.
And I'll give props to Lucas Sport. He dropped the ball and sprinted right back and was the one who actually knocked that ball out. So, way to hustle and make up for that small mistake there.
Yeah, they really made that Central Square player pinch. He had nowhere to go. Loses the ball as a result, but again, big save from the keeper for Central Square.
And we're about 3 seconds off, but that is the end of the first half. So we will end 12 Jamesville-DeWitt, 1 Central Square. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back in about 10 minutes for the second half. So stay tuned on JDTV. And welcome back to the Jamesville-DeWitt High School. We're getting ready for the first face-off of the second half. The Red Rams are up 12-1. It's a hot one out here. It's been impacting the game a little bit, but we're ready to see this final half and see what happens.
Yeah, the weather is cooling off. I doubt, though, that the Red Rams will cool off anytime soon. However, they're going to keep dropping it like it's hot out here.
They slowed down a little bit. First quarter, 8 goals. Second quarter, 4 goals. Slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, but I'd argue that the goals of the second quarter for JD were a little smoother. We got a couple assists, a couple good looks, as opposed to just brute isolating, one-on-one force.
I definitely agree with that.
We'll see. The Central Square is going to try to keep the deficit to under a dozen if they can.
And by the way, they just won their first face-off of the game. Perhaps a good omen for the second half.
Yeah, watch out. Don't call it a comeback. Oh, good double move. Oh, triple? Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness.
You might be right on the ball, Ty. 3 individual spin dodges and then just powers it by McLaughlin. Spin 1, spin 2, spin 3, slices and dices the defense. Lets them know that they're still there.
And that is number 23, Jacob Morin. 2 goals, 2 unassisted goals. He's been the sole source of the Redhawks offense today, but when he scores, it is pretty.
Yeah, no, that was a whole lot of flash. It's like when you just hit the circle button over and over in Madden. We'll see if JD can nullify that last heroic Herculean attempt by the Redhawks.
They're going to get it down to X with Kessler behind the cage.
Oh, low pass by Burns. It'll find its way out. And now we got the Hawks starting hot. JD faltering just a bit here.
And we're seeing Morin with the ball again. I would not be surprised if they kept feeding him the ball over and over again, as he's had some pretty spectacular plays.
Yeah, that might be the most clear mismatch that the Redhawks have on offense. But not to be outdone, the attack gets into the game a little bit, and they're finally letting the ball fly a bit here.
That was number 15, Josh Budge. That was another solid aggressive attempt.
They have not let up whatsoever. They feel as if they're still in this game, and these quarters are long.
Oh my
here we go.
goodness.
Wow. Are you jeez.
And the hat trick from Jacob Morin. He is showing off here today.
And now, the Redhawk offense is almost mirroring the attack that the Red Ram offense had in the first half. Just going for it. Zero regard for his personal health, running right into the lion's den, coming out with another G.
He put spin moves on the board, tough shots to the upper corners of the cage.
Yeah, really fun to watch. The question is, though, can they narrow this gap? And
another mistake from the Red Rams. High pass out of bounds. We're seeing a little bit of a momentum swing here in the beginning of the third quarter.
yeah, it looks like the tides are always turning, and the Redhawks might get an opportunity to inch their way back into this game.
And it's not reflected on the scoreboard, but there were some shots in the first half that almost went in for the Redhawks, and were 1 or 2 lucky breaks from maybe a 6-goal game instead of a 9-goal game.
Yeah, you can't rewrite that history, but it looks like they are still motivated to leave their mark here at JD. Good scoop. There'll be a clear.
Shaw ends up with it.
And as we mentioned, basically every game, the riding attackmen for JD are just like vicious guard dogs. Like, you can't, attack our. The convention is that because I was generally in attack, are either a little lazy or maybe prima donnas. But this attack line for JD, scrap and fight for every ground ball. Every clear is questionable for the defense. Definitely sets this attack line apart from others. Probably a big reason for the success during the season.
Burns is going to make a move off a screen.
And that one bounces way out, almost to the midfield line. But it won't quite get in the reach of the central square attack line.
Bobbled several times inside, and central square ends up with it.
And who else but number 23? Not afraid to hit a spin move, go over the head. Playing like someone who's got nothing to lose. And he's just going to line it up here again. And you can see now that the defense for JD is being forced to show him a lot of respect. They're really starting to slide early, which is going to free up a lot of the other players for Central Square. The question now is, can they capitalize on the shifts that the defense are making to accommodate 23?
I'd keep an eye on number 15, Josh Budge. He's been seemingly their second in command on offense when Moran hasn't been on perfectly, but right now he's attracting all that attention away.
And he's really up high at the 40 there. It makes you think that he's going to try to take an alley dodge and really build up speed. Hopefully blow by the defenseman. But they are not going to give him that opportunity. Instead, Tackman tries to sneak by. And we got some laundry down.
That might have been a slash on number 14, Tanner Burns, that originally cleared this ball up to give JD possession.
Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense why the ball was blown dead. Maybe just a late call. Potentially see JD's man down defense here for the first time today.
The official exchanging some words with the coach is on the JD bench. And yep, the Rams are down one for the first time all day.
And I'm having trouble remembering whether it was the girls' game or the last home boys' game. Maybe it was against FM, but I think 3 or 4 man-down opportunities or situations for the Red Rams, and they ended up actually netting 2 or 3 goals.
So it was that FM game for the boys. 3 of their 12 goals came off of man-down situations. Yeah. And they didn't allow a single goal when they were man-down as well, which is...
Yeah, that +3 margin is, I mean, you are at your luckiest if you can keep it right around 0, but +3 is unheard of.
And with them playing so well in man-down situations, it was somewhat surprising that they weren't able to make more of a move after they got their extra man back. But
yeah, it's interesting.
They'll have another chance tomorrow where JD will travel to FM for a rematch of that game last Saturday.
And I think this news is hot off the presses, Ty, right?
It's pretty recent. The first I heard of it was at halftime, so...
You heard it here first, folks. Your trusted news source.
It's good. I think that one counted as a field goal. Very high shot.
I wish we had a soundboard so I could give you a wham wham. JD playing a pretty relaxed style right now. And we'll see the off-ball movement. You know, it's not usually the shiniest toy in the toy chest there, but it is impressive if you know what to look for and you see it. So we'll see if the middle section right above where the crease ends is inundated with cutting and moving from those on JD that don't actually have the ball in their stick.
Burns thought about it.
And a good move there. Not much angle. Wait. Oh, another one dribbles in.
And that will extend the lead to double digits, 13-3. Let's take a look.
Leading goal by number 14, Tanner Burns.
And he does basically a double toe drag. Not a move you see all the time. He made it look pretty. You know, the angle wasn't there, but once again, the ball crossed the line. It will be a goal for TB.
And we'll be
TB 14, right?
We'll be getting a treat here, or so we thought. Tanner Burns, number 14, was out at the middle of the field. Looked like he was going to take the face-off for a minute, but we see Scott Reeves trotting back out on the field.
Reeves says, "This is my ex. This is my home. Burns, you find another."
One thing I've noticed today is that the Red Rams have been playing kind of above the cage in front of it, not behind it in the X formation. Do you know why that is? Seemingly a completely different strategy than what they employed against FM, I say, as they take it behind the cage.
Yeah, they were running a lot of two-man game. It could just be something in the scouting report, so I'm sure that, you know, JD can basically attack from any corner of the field. We've seen that time and time again. But they may try to tailor their game plan just because they can to exploit weaknesses that they think they find on tape. And it's really just a coaching decision.
Kaib was almost in the danger zone, but the ball was slashed out just as he was winding up for what would have been a heck of a shot.
Yeah, and maybe they'll give it a go here. It looks like they'll take a... Oh, nice face dodge. Wow. In traffic.
There is a flag on the field. We're going to wait to see what that is.
I'm assuming that the penalty will be wiped out because the goal will stand.
Leading goal by number 20.
Did we get that? No, we did not.
We got a nice little moment of good team... man, my brain is fried today, Ty.
Sportsmanship, team chemistry.
Sportsmanship.
There we go.
A good little bit of sportsmanship between 2-3 and I believe the 2-2-3s. A little bit of math magic for Reeves.
Rams end up with it again. They're up by 11, over halfway through this third quarter now.
And the high-risk throw to the cutting defenseman is no good, but you gotta appreciate the amount of trust that the offense has in some of these long pulls out here to feed them on a cut for the purpose of shooting to score.
I mean, we've seen Jamesville-DeWitt have trust in almost anybody on their team to score. J-Mo McLaughlin scored earlier in the year.
Kaib. Slice in dice.
Number 1, Johnny Cobb. Unassisted.
That's Kaib's fourth unassisted goal of the day. It's been a heck of a day for that Yale commit. Number 52 recruit in the United States, according to Inside Lax, and it was the Soccer SEAC Co-Player of the Year in this fall, so clearly a multi-talented athlete.
New Haven, here we come. It looks like we got the lights on the field now. For all of our health, the sun has finally gone down. We can take a deep breath.
The players on the field more than us. We do have AC up in this press box. They were a little warmer than we were.
True. Don't even know what I'm complaining about. Still sticky from the day. Ooh. And a big hit. It's going to result in a penalty.
Lucas Sport takes a tumble there. Oh, camera just moved away, but he took a pretty big hit. And that will be recorded as such with the flag.
And important to note that with a 12-goal differential, we will have a running clock.
A 12-goal differential, not uncommon for these teams. Jamesville-DeWitt has won the only 6 matchups between these two teams this decade. 21-2, 20-3, 22-5. There have been several of them.
Absolutely. Oh. Good shot by Burns.
Game now goal by number 14, Tanner Burns. Assisted by number 23, Sam Brazell.
And just catch and shoot. It looks like the ball had left his stick before his head had turned. Impressive play there by Burns. And those helmets for JD, now that I see on camera there, thanks to our brilliant camera work by Sam, usually you hear his sultry voice, but he can do a little cinematography too. But I was trying to say that those are pretty helmets for JD, in my opinion. And over the years, they've gone back and forth between nice matte colors and really reflective kind of helmets as well. In a highly reflective year for the helmet garb. Almost looks like, Alabama football helmets, huh?
Yeah, got a little bit of that shine. Almost. Have you seen the Arkansas helmets? A little bit like those Razorback helmets, nice and shiny.
Yeah, you got that like stripe down the middle. Yeah, like a little bit football helmet looking, which makes sense. Their defense and riding attackmen are out there like it's a football game for the most part.
The helmets match the jerseys, though.
Do they? But yeah, I wish, they're.
You wish they had those good of jerseys back when you played for the school?
Yeah, it would be nice. I think I played so long ago, we probably had our own seamstress here making the jerseys by hand.
You're old, but I don't think you're that old.
The world has changed a lot. But no, we were hooked up back in the day too. Funny story or cool story is that my senior year, there was a new helmet that came out called the CPXR, and it was in a red shade. The company had meant to give the helmets to Cornell for the NCAA tournament. They would be the first team on earth to wear them. They lost first round. They didn't know what to do with the helmets. They brought them up here because we're the same color, and we had the opportunity to wear those cool helmets. We were the first team to ever wear them in a game. So that's a little interesting tidbit.
Making history on the field with those two undefeated seasons, and making history with some pretty cool helmets too.
Yeah, doing it in style, I suppose.
So we are now done with 3 quarters. 17-3, Red Rams are winning. So we were just taking a look at Johnny Kibe, who's going to Yale. We do have another Ivy League commit on the team, Tanner Burns. Inside Lacrosse had a scouting report on him where they said he's feared as a finisher, proficient as a feeder, confident up top, and often relentless in his riding game. Burns' pedigree is only exceeded by his lacrosse IQ and field sense. So in the fall, he will be headed to Brown University, a 4-star recruit and an 87 rating. Quite the impressive player here for the Rams, and Brown will be happy to have him.
Oh, yeah, and you want to talk about pedigree and lacrosse IQ. Burns comes from a long line of Laxers, high-level, dominant lacrosse players, siblings, cousins, uncles.
Father, 3-time All-American.
Father as well. Just a beast of a family on the old gridiron.
And you could probably name 5 Burns off the top of your head that have been involved with this lacrosse program.
Also, he's very much a golfer.
Oh, big golfer. Actually, you know what? The Burnses are big golfers too. I remember I played with Deke Burns. I believe his cousin. Varsity golf. That's one thing I regret, Ty. Is not getting into golf sooner. You know.
And now, as a old man, as we've been talking about all day, it's perfectly your sport. Gunther Schnorr, also a member of that varsity golf team here for the school.
Such a good thing to learn when you're young. It's so your brain just gets like solidifies when you're old, and it's like impossible to learn new things. So to our younger fans, start learning how to chip now, or you will look very dumb in front of your friends in 10 to 20 years.
My dad was actually playing golf earlier today, so I will get an update on how he played when I get home.
I'll hold my breath until we get the news from that.
Jamesville-DeWitt being very patient now, trying to work that running clock a little bit in this last quarter.
And like we mentioned, the clock is running time. And in high school lacrosse, there is no shot clock, which is not the case at the college and professional levels. So the advantage in this case really is in strong favor of Jamesville-DeWitt, given that they don't just make any clerical kind of mistakes in this spread offense, which based on their performance today is not impossible. They did start both halves a little slower than usual, although fast shot from Burns.
Heck of a save from Shaw in the cage.
And a completely different tempo from Gray. Oh, push in the back. That will undoubtedly be a penalty. On number 30, Tyler Allen. Pretty clear cut. Doesn't help that it was on perfect vantage for the box to see, so that'll be on tape pretty clearly. No disputing that one. But gives an opportunity for the man down to sharpen their teeth and for the man up squad to maybe pump one in here.
Wouldn't be a penalty in slam ball.
Our producer Sam is telling us that in fact would not be a penalty in slam ball. Just another reason to bring it back. Well, the popularity of trampolines has increased. There's all those, you probably know the places, Ty.
Sky Zone.
Sky Zone.
Get Air. Lots of trampoline parks.
Unfortunately, those kind of came to be when I was not a child, so it's almost like the Chuck E. Cheese thing. There wasn't a Chuck E. Cheese until in Syracuse, until I was way too old to go. Same deal with the Sky Zone. Unfortunate. Now we're getting a question here from producer Sam. Could trampoline lacrosse work? I am thinking there would be a lot of gouged eyes out on accident. Those alloy shafts and the unpredictability of the bouncing seems like an absolute disaster. But I would play and I would watch.
I mean, there's already box lacrosse. How much more violent can you get?
Pretty much just a boxing match, essentially, is the only thing that is physically more demanding, I would say. Yeah, it takes, there's also some of the rules for box are different such that there's not really a slashing penalty. Your hands don't actually have to be together when you check either with the stick, so it just, the game is tailor-made for bumps and bruises. Oh, lost his stick there. Kesserling.
A little bit of a pullover move there from 26.
Here we'll see 15 has kind of been the Robin to the Batman today, so to speak. Gives it a good shot.
Heck of a save there from Jameson McLaughlin.
McLaughlin not phased. A real threat right up in his face. Plays it cool. Oh, good save on the other side, too. Couple of fakes by Kesserling, but no can do.
And Tanner Burns shot that almost horizontal to the goal. I'm not a math major like my sister in college, but I don't know if that angle was even possible to go in.
I think that'd be more of a physics issue.
Physics, maybe a little bit of geometry.
Which is physics.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I didn't take physics this year, so you can't blame me.
It's all right. I was not a huge fan of physics in high school, but as you get older, you realize that everything is kind of just physics. Like, even like biology and like everything. Those physics folks, they lock everything up. Leave nothing to the rest of the scientists. Ooh, alley dodge, blitz right to left. Brings it around. He's gonna be hung up. Takes a poor angle shot, and you gotta give credit to this goalie for Central Square, Shaw. He clearly recognized some of his shortcomings in the first half, and it's clear that he's addressed them. And while he has let a few sneak by him, his positioning in the goal, especially during those tough, in-tight shots, has been drastically improved, even over the course of this single game. But no stopping the underhand worm burner from Kesserling.
Came all the way around from the other side of the cage and bounced it right past him.
Yeah, impressive shot. It's amazing to me how commonplace these goals have gotten on the high school level, boys and girls lacrosse. Like I say, back in my day, we were not quite as versed in the circus shots, but like we've been harping on all day, if it goes in, it goes in. And if you make it pretty, well, that's great too.
And now, for real this time, Scott Reeves, not the one in the face-off circle for the Rams. That was number 4, Matt Keeler, who won it.
And Reeves maybe just exhausted after, I don't know, 30 face-off wins today?
He's put in his work, so well-deserved rest over there on the JD sideline.
But who knows? Knowing Reeves, he probably still wants to be in there. I doubt that he wants to pass up a single opportunity to duke it out at the face-off X.
So we're winding down this game. Just about 4 minutes to go. Got a little bit of a funny thing. What day is it today? It is Thursday the 20th. A little Simpsons action for you there. And as always on JDTV, we like to remind you, it is not the 4th of July. You know, sometimes people get confused. Very hot weather out today, but still not the 4th of July.
And you might be confused if you live within the city of Syracuse proper. There is a phenomenon where when the Syracuse students get close to graduation time, you start hearing all types of fireworks outside your house every day. So you might be confused if you live in the city proper. But don't be. It is not the fourth.
Fireworks there from the shot, though.
And fireworks from the shot.
Violation on the Redhawks. JD takes possession. One thing, as I'm realizing now, they've got a game tomorrow. It was a hot day out today. These Red Rams players are probably getting tired, so no wonder they're probably trying to save Reeves' energy for that rematch with FM tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great thinking. Something I hadn't thought of. Again, we've well established here that my brain is mush today, folks.
Game Saturday, too, 3 in a row.
Yeah, well, there's going to be 3 games, I guess 2 after this, within the course of 72 hours. A little bit of May madness, if you will.
And they play Tuesday.
And one more game on Tuesday, which I believe makes 4 games in 6 days, maybe 7 days.
Aren't they playing next Tuesday, you said?
So we'll have to see how that.
It's 4 games in 5 days.
4 games in 5 days. Thank you, Coach Dave Archer.
I'm here for you.
Not a math teacher, but at least I don't think he is.
Yes, he is.
He is definitely a math teacher. And they're just going to keep working it around here. And you're probably right, Ty. They do not want to, with basically a secured win here, they are not going to want to exert undue energy, given the tumultuous nature of the next 5 days for them. I'm sure the kids will love it, getting to play day in and day out, but your body can break down after so much.
And they will be fired up all day tomorrow. That was a really tough loss to the Hornets. The Hornets represent a bigger school, another level of talent, so it would be monumental for this team to take them down.
Yeah, it'll be a good one to watch. Too bad that the Hornets don't have a great broadcasting setup like this. I would have just watched from my couch. Subtle jab at the Hornets because of the intensity of the rivalry.
Rivalry on the field, rivalry off the field, too. We are not afraid to take some shots at whatever broadcasting crew they have.
We are not, Ty. We are not.
Pardon me for my silly thumbs after one of those goals. I stopped the play, but that is the end of the game. About 20 seconds off from me, but a heck of a game there from the Rams. 19-3 victory. Saw some great goals. 4 from Johnny Cog, probably the highlight of the day. And with that, the Rams will go home, get some rest, and get ready for FM tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, as always. And just like to say thank you for tuning in from all of us here at JDTV. Sam Gelfand on camera, Tyler Aitken, and Brad Diamond. Didn't forget his last name this time, helping me out with color commentary. So we will see you next time, whenever that may be. Bye.